Hello, knife people. Thank you for tuning in. Uh, as you can see from the title, I will be bluing some steel here with the Perma Blue. I got this kit from Amazon. As you probably also know, you can give this patina to a carbon steel with various things like vinegar. You can put some lemon juice on it, from freshly cut lemon. You can actually even put the slices of lemon onto it. You can use vinegar, acidy stuff. But the Perma Blue I found works really good and gives it a consistent tint or patina. This knife I had already messed with, and so it had some spots on it, patinaed spots, so it didn't give it such a uniform pattern. But I still have these two knives to do, the Brothers of Bushcraft Fieldcraft knife by Tops. This is a Mora blade that I put a very comfortable handle on, and I do some carving with this knife, rough carving. I also have a separate video on this knife, and so when I reprofiled and modified the handle, I had silver color, steel, bare steel showing all on these sections. And now that I have given it the Perma Blue, you can barely tell the tint is actually the same. You could even go over a few more times and make it even darker. There were some grinding here as well, where the steel was stripped of the coating, but I used the Perma Blue here as well, and it covered it. So I'm quite happy with the product. I'll now demonstrate how it works on this steel blade, and this I polished. So I gave it a saber grind. I guess it's not a Scandi anymore, but it's a shallow saber, if you will. And then it has a convex edge done on the Canonian knife sharpener. Okay, so I'll show you how I do the bluing, and then how I guess I clean the blade from the patina. But I don't use any stone, I just strop it on my leather strop. Okay, so this is not complicated stuff, just need to degrease so the patina is given uniformly, so the steel is affected uniformly by the solution. So this, as I said, does have a slight patina to it already, but I'm not happy with that. Also, I have a separate video on the modifications on the Tops BOB, where I did a few mods, but one being that I sanded down this very rough paint, where it now slides smoothly into wood or whatever you're cutting. Okay, so that should be degreased enough. Let's do the same here. And that should be good to go. This is just some rubbing alcohol, so nothing special. Now, this does come with blue rust remover and cleaner degreaser as well. I'm just not using that. What comes in the kit is everything that you need to prepare your steel. It comes with this whatever you call it, steel mesh, sandpaper, some towels, and the applicator, which I will use one of. So we want Perma Blue. Close that down. I was quite happy to see how fast this works. So we'll just get some here. Okay. And you really don't need much, so let's look how fast this works. Look, dark already, really dark. Works very nicely. I sanded this with fine grit sandpaper before bringing it up for this bluing, and as you can see, works quite well. I have not tested how well it holds up to wear, so that I still have to see. So that now is basically a black blade. Okay, so I'll just leave that liquid there for it to rust, not rust, but patina even more, I guess. But it works instantly. This liquid works instantly. So let's see on this blade now. You see the color. Yeah, it darkens it up. Not as fast as on this blade because that was just sanded. This one, as I said already, I did give it some patina already, but I'll do like one side and not till the end so that you can see the contrast clearly. But I'm quite happy with how this turns out. You see that? And you can go over as many times as you want, and it just becomes darker. You should be able to see. Switch it. Come on. There we go. Now that's more clear. So if I extend, it'll do the same. I guess it evaporates partly because it doesn't act after a while. It doesn't act as quickly and intensely on the steel. So I have to do another dip, but it's still wet, it's still working. Sorry about my voice. I'm a bit sick with a cold. Let's look at this one. It almost turned blue. That's cool. So the more as I said, the more I go over, it just becomes darker and darker. So I'm gonna wipe this off now. I think that blade has had enough blowing. Look at how dark this is now. Very dark. kind of missed some over here. Maybe that is covered with some epoxy when I was gluing that in, and that's why that's not being covered, probably. Okay, well, the rest is well done, so to say. Okay, you can still read more underneath. There we go. Let's look at this again. I want this darker. It's getting a blue tint. It's not called Perma Blue for no reason. It has a defined blue tint. You can see that. Quite cool. Okay, so I need to dip this in more. Because I want this darker. I'll also go over these sections on the handle. I want that darker too. And here. I'll let that sit for a while. Come back to this again. You can make it really, really dark. Now on this knife I also ground the coating or the paint off on the so-called Shango notch, where now all of this is a 90-degree spine and I can strike a ferro rod off of that, but I would still like to glue that and inside the Shango notch as well. Why not? This is a useless gimmick anyway. The notch, I mean. Okay, it's almost black. I would imagine the darker you make it, the better it should hold up to wear. I may be mistaken though, so if you know, please do comment. Trying to build a learning and sharing platform here, so you're welcome to comment if you have the knowledge, and even if you don't, please ask questions. Maybe I have some knowledge or another viewer that would be willing to respond, but yeah, please do engage. It should be good. Make this a bit darker. It's looking good. Okay, so while this dries, put this to the side a bit, and I will now show you what I do with the blade after I do this bluing process. Is I just strop it, and that brings back that thin line, you see. Now this is a true Scandi, the way I've ground it, or the way I've sharpened it. It is a true Scandi, but while stropping I will only do a sort of a micro bevel, because I don't want to strip away the bluing from the entire blade. Aesthetics don't really matter on this knife. It's a hard use. Oh yeah. That's plenty for woodwork. Give it a couple of more passes. And it should be golden. Not really. But anyway, I'm not gonna. That looks like it is. Over here in the beginning it has some difficulty, it needs resharpening. But I'm not gonna spend time on that right now. Yeah, so now this needs to be dried off or wiped off. It's a lot of dark. There we go. It's looking quite nice. So I'll get a new paper towel, use some rubbing alcohol again to clean that off. There we go. Other side. Now this is a Scandivex or a Sabervex, whatever you want to call it. And so I need to strop this also. This was very sharp before bluing, so let's see if that affected in any way. Actually, let me also wipe the bottom off. Yeah, initially some rust comes off. And also want to clean this off. Because if you leave it wet, it will just turn into rust and darken farther and farther. And so once you're happy with the color, you want to wipe it off. Okay. Let's see, I've already done the cleaning on this, but it needs to be cleaned up. I used it out in the woods roughly, and has some rust and just needs to be cleaned up. But so this I haven't stropped yet, right? So let's got all kinds of knives unsheathed here. So let's think of safety. Okay. So let's see if this cuts as well as it used to. Kind of has some nicks almost. Okay. Also, what's cool about this bluing is when you're sharpening or stropping, you can see the exact line that you're stropping. And if you missed something, you can go over again. Let's see if that corrected those. Oh yes, beautiful. There we go. Knife done. Perma Blue. Got that from Amazon. You could get it elsewhere, I imagine. Pretty good product. I highly recommend. Well, I haven't seen the resistance to wear, but I will keep you updated as you will keep seeing my knives in use in the next videos. Thank you very much. This is how I blued my knives. Please subscribe and give the video a like. Have a good one.